Welcome to Housing Developments.
I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
Hey, here we are back in the Housing Center.
Back in D.C.
Yeah, that's right, after a week in Las Vegas. But before we get going.
Yeah, let's do it early now.
That's right. Let's use our special guest, the new 2024 NAHB Chairman of the Board, Carl Harris. Welcome to Housing Developments.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
I've watched some of your stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it's pretty good.
Nice.
Well,
Thanks, Carl.
we're happy to have you in the studio, and we're looking forward to having a conversation with you about your year and upcoming. I mean, literally newly minted. I think you're just about in the chair now.
Just
week.
over a week, yeah.
So we're happy to have you in studio.
I got to say, after the IBS Las Vegas vibe, I usually love the studio, but it feels a little bit of a kind of a downer, right? Like, comparison.
It's the friendly confines of the studio. But last week was very cool.
Yeah, we had such a good show last week, right?
Yeah, a couple of podcasts and on the show floor, and the energy was very cool
awesome.
to do it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Harris. So first of all, let's begin with the question everyone's asking: what do you want to accomplish in your year as chairman?
Well, I'd like to get more houses built.
There you go.
That seems to be
Here.
that seems to be the big deal, and whatever we can do to encourage our members to have the confidence that that things are going to start turning around, that we're going to see some lower interest rates, that we're going to see some more favorable things that are occurring out there in our industry. We've seen some lumber prices come down. We've seen other prices come down. Still a lot of things that are in our way that are kind of holding back confidence. It's good to see that our members were a little more confident at the Builders Show. A lot of people out on the floor when they're going to have some great ideas when their customers come to them and say, "What can we do?"
No, absolutely. So obviously you start this process, 3 years ahead of now. So what first got you onto the ladder? That's something that I'm always curious as to what first brought you on.
I've got 25 years, working on committees and people encouraging me to do things. Starting off with the Commercial Builders Council, which is no more. So I can't be. But no, it was a great council. It got people thinking about diversification. Yeah, something that people need to think more about. Right. Owning some of their own properties, because if you're not building, you're not eating. And so some kind of recurring income was a good thing. So that was a great start. And then really got involved in both the Construction Safety and Health Committee and chaired that. And then I went on and chaired state and local government affairs and federal government affairs. And then my last chairmanship was that of the PAC. And the PAC really got me excited about what we're doing for our members, how we are out there. Our team, NAHB, are out there fighting the good fight on Capitol Hill and in the local municipalities to get things done. Right. And so that with that encouragement, it was a natural step to say, I think I'd like an opportunity to get through the chairs, provided the FBI background check came.
Right. Well, so far so good. At least we haven't seen anything. But you talk about as a younger builder getting those opportunities, and I know that's something that's important to you. But the leadership ladder and identifying that new wave of leaders that are out there, give them those opportunities to kind of have your same path, and maybe tomorrow's leaders are somewhere in the Federation today. Yeah.
I remember going at one of the national meetings. It was a fall board meeting. It was right before 9/11. Bob Mitchell at one of the president's council meetings gave me one of those home builder care ties.
That's right.
And I wore a replacement when I was installed last week. That was pretty encouraging. But it was that we have got to speak encouragement to young builders, both men and women, that there are opportunities there for them to advance in our federation and really do that. And I think Alicia Huey last year did a great job in really trying to bring leadership development, greater than just one-on-one mentorship, but true leadership development. And I think now, under current staff, we're really looking at some great things, looking at what I would call a continuum of leadership development, starting with the area leadership conferences, moving into the emerging leaders, now this leadership academy. I think there are going to be great opportunities for people to really move forward, whether it's up to committee chairmanship, or it's encouraging them to be on certain committees, giving them a chance to look at what I called their personal GPS in this industry, their gifts, their passions, and their struggles, where they can really add to our industry, what the parts of their industry that they're really passionate about, and those areas that they can learn from. I think if we can help them identify their personal GPS, they're going to be powerhouses, and our federation is just going to excel.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I mean, the NAHB, part of NAHB's value proposition, of course, is kind of that networking. You talked a little bit about that, but also that knowledge transfer, right? The builders that have been through how many up and down turns through the years, but you said mentorship, but just being able to help that next generation, whether from a business perspective or just navigate the association and help, really when you're a volunteer at NAHB or any, whether you're a local association or state association, you're really leaning into helping to, mold the industry. And that's really important. I think NAHB is maybe not unique in that way, but just the member involvement is really a big part of what we do.
And something that I noticed in the meetings and on the show floor is the amount of young people this year. It was noticeably higher than past years, and I think that helped with the excitement that we felt on the floor throughout, because they were really passionate and engaged. And I know we sat in the YP and they asked you some great questions, and they were all excited and they're all in. I think they're going to be right behind you this year.
I think that the youthful vigor that we're seeing means that they understand this industry isn't going to be the same. Right. And they can only learn so much locally. And so going to shows, coming and learning from other people across the country at our fall events and our spring events, and that they're just going to grow. And I think they're ready to learn, that they understand this isn't their father's federation or their mother's federation anymore.
Yeah.
That's a great way.
You mentioned Alicia Yui before, and usually the incoming chair has a mission or has a goal in mind. Are you looking to continue and have that same mission moving forward, or do you want to kind of tilt the federation in a certain way? What's your vision there?
In the past, 15 or 20 years ago, I kind of saw how every time a new chairman came in, it kind of went one direction or the other. I think the current leadership team is truly interested in moving it forward together. That we've got a destination. I think the strategic plan calls it again, the GPS, the location we're trying to get to, how we get there, but whichever the path is, but we're not going to sway from it. We've got a direction. I think each of the senior officers that are to follow me and the few before me that I've worked with on the ladder have had that same direction.
Right.
So you're not going to see, I don't think you're going to see any major changes. It's just going to be where the emphasis is.
Right.
Alicia really Jerry started with mentorship. Alicia wanted to continue with leadership. I'm trying to get the senior officers, again, pulling that direction. We want to get out to our local associations, because that's where our strength comes from. That's where our membership comes from. That's where the rubber meets the road for most of our members. 140,000 of them. We can't serve all of them from Washington, D.C., nor can I meet each one of them. So whatever we can do to teach them to be better members of their association, to be better assets in their own association, makes their association stronger, makes their state association stronger, makes the federation a powerhouse to be contended with.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised that about traveling and getting out into the federation. I think it's been a real hallmark of this leadership team, wanting to get out on the road and spending that time and getting to know not just the leadership of associations, but like you said, the rank and file members, and just connecting the federation better together. So look forward to more of that.
And speaking of travel, you're here not only just to meet with us.
That's right.
You're also here for a fairly unique occasion, right? At least outside of Washington, D.C., the State of the Union.
Yeah, I think when I got the call from Lake, said, look, there's an opportunity. It looks like we've got a seat from your Congressman Estes to come to the State of the Union address. And then they worked with North Carolina Congresswoman Chairman Fox to get Lori a seat. Quite an opportunity. Really looking forward to seeing the State of the Union address, to see if the president is as committed to housing as we've been hearing. So we're sure hoping that will trickle down to some of the other speed bumps that we have in housing at the state level and at the local level. But just hearing the president say housing is important, that we have a 2 million household deficit or new home deficit, we've got to do that. And our members are the only ones that can provide that.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, we're recording this prior to the State of the Union. It'll probably go out after the State of the Union. But the stuff that we're hearing right now, because it's starting to leak, the transcript and such, housing's going to possibly have a really big night.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, this is the biggest audience the president will have to speak to Americans and American voters between now and the election in November. So he's got the stage all to himself, and this is where he looks back and takes credit for things that he's done, but more importantly, sets the tone for what the future is going to hold if he's reelected, or certainly at least in this year. And I agree. We are starting to hear that the housing will be part of the speech. That's really important. We work very hard to put us in a position where housing is mentioned, because there's only the biggest bully pulpit in the country is the President of the United States. And to have him talk about housing, I know I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say, and knowing that the chairman of the board will be there in attendance to hear it live is pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, I think it's cool that I've known very few people that have ever had the opportunity to set in on the State of the Union, and all of them I know have been chairman of NAHB. So no, I mean so that our federation is strong enough to garner a seat at the State of the Union says a lot enough. Yeah. And so I think it's great. I think it's an awesome opportunity, to take part in this grand experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So just to tick off a couple of things that we're hearing, and we'll see, and of course we'll report back, and NAHB will be very good at explaining not only to our members but to the press and everybody else what this truly means for housing. But I mean, we're talking about a $5,000 first-time buyer tax credit, right? Yeah. We're talking $10,000 per family to sell their starter homes. So that's fairly interesting. Yeah. As Carl said, the president's going to ask for at least 2 million new homes to be built. I'll be curious as to what the timeline is, how we'll build those 2 million. But I mean, what anything else that you're hearing?
Well, I think low-income housing tax credit, the neighborhood investment opportunity, excuse me, some things that we're tracking. I think those are all great, right? And they're all aspirational. Yeah. Of course, they've got to get through a divided Congress, and so we'll take a look at them and find out how they interact. But here's interestingly, this is, you've heard me say this before, but it sounds like a lot of incentives to juice the market. Yeah. What we really need to juice the market and drop home prices is more supply. And so I'd be more interested in hearing the president talk about what he's going to do to get the federal government's red tape out of the way, or encourage local governments, more importantly, to get the red tape out of the way. It's one thing to give people $10,000 to sell their home, but if we build more houses to put more supply and drive prices down the old-fashioned way, I'm more interested in that than probably hanging more money on the federal deficit. Again, the fact that the president's talking about housing as a big housing platform, that's really important. But again, important minds can disagree on policy, but the fact is that the White House continues to be focused on housing. Yeah,
because we're looking at a long-term solution here, not Band-Aids here and there. Right. So and we're always talking about building our way out of here.
But if you were to think about that, if the president would come forward with something that said, look, for us to consider your block grant in your community, we'd like to take a look at what road blocks you're putting on building on those blocks, right?
So the wordsmith here.
If we were to look, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. Because, if we just learned last week at IBS that $93,000 is the cost of regulation on every new home. $93,000
at least.
I mean, that was the percentage of the the $430,000 new home price. But it's significant. Yep. Yeah. So if you could trim that back, but 5,000, 10,000 sounds like a rounding error. Yeah. We really have to get to what that is. I mean, we've seen what's happened in the last 2 years, how we continue to lock people out of the market with the cost of housing and then the financing of housing. And if we've got to bring that down.
Yeah.
And we really can't point to a specific thing other than regulation that can take out a big chunk of that.
Right.
93,000. If we could cut that into half,
Right.
that would be amazing.
That's right.
So if we could propose to the administration, look, before you start throwing good money after bad policy, then let's look at what we can do.
Well, again, it's like we always talk about giving people money to afford an already expensive product is not the answer. We need to lower the cost of the underlying product.
Exactly.
So, but now I'm excited, and we'll certainly have a reaction to the speech as we go tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess the last time we spoke was on the show floor. We couldn't really talk about, the end game because we're still in the middle of the show. But I mean, we ended with 76,000 people just on our side.
Just on our side.
Not including the KBIS side.
Right.
So together we had 117,000 people
In
come
Las
through our
Vegas.
floors. Yeah,
That's right. It's
amazing.
right? It's amazing. We talked about the new exhibitors, but in Carl, you mentioned just kind of the energy on the show floor, whether it's exhibitors or attendees. It was a fantastic show.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic.
Congratulations to you both, because congratulations to us all. Right.
The entire
the team did a great
They
job.
did.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of excitement in segmenting the show too.
Yep.
And so people with true interest in a certain area could spend more time rather than dashing from one area of the show floor to another. I've heard great things about that, heard good things for the exhibitors, some saying, when can I sign up again? We said, right now.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Really, literally right down the hallway.
There's the show floor. Yeah, the show offices. Yeah.
Well,
it was good.
The new 2024 regime seems to have started
off
fairly well.
That's right. I think so. I think there's a lot of optimism.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons to think that we're going to have this is the kickoff to a really or the continuation of some really good years. But as we accelerate into what hopefully is going to be a a new day for home building, I really think that we're gonna get to build those 2 million units that we need to build.
Right. No, absolutely. And let's do a shout out to the Fed Chairman Powell for actually saying that he actually is going to lower some rates this year. That kind of boosted up the not only the stock market, but also a little bit of confidence that we're actually going to see some of that price and rate decline that we've been asking for and needing to build those homes. Yeah,
we Dr. Rob Dietz continues to say that we're going to see rates get down into lower sixes through the course of this year and this year poised to really roll into those fives in 2025. And so Chairman Powell seems still to be on the same trajectory we were at the last meeting. So it's all good news.
Yeah,
I feel like you should knock on wood or something.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Harris, Chairman Harris, thank you so much for joining us here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
anybody can get invited once.
That's right. It's always the return invite that's the toughest one.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Big shout out to our sponsor, LG Pro Builder, right? There's tagline, let's build a good life together.
Yeah, we're happy to have them, and we're happy to visit with them last week at the show as well. So.
That's right. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, thanks, LG.
I think that's it.
So until next time, I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
Thanks. See you.
Bye.